This week's video is sponsored by Case. Capture with confidence. Well, good morning, and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the UK. And as you can see, this morning we're going to head out and into the woods because hopefully we'll get some autumn colour. And it's looking beautiful this morning. There's a bit of fog around, a bit of mist around, so definitely going to be worth a look around, see what we can find. But yeah, here's my ride, so better get going. So we've come further out. I showed you all that fog this morning. As soon as we started to head down the road, disappeared, completely gone. But look at all the autumn colour we have here. We've just come about 45 minutes down the road from where we were at my house there. And yeah, the colours are just stunning. I was really lucky this year to be able to see fall in Canada and then get back here, kind of almost for peak season here. And yeah, the colours are absolutely beautiful. All these beech trees are looking absolutely stunning. So I'm going to work around this area, see what we can find, have a little look around. There's lots to work with though, so I'm sure we'll find something. So just walking around this little area, I've found my first composition, and it's going to involve a bit of a precarious little trip across these rocks here and out onto a little spot there that I can get the view back up behind me. But there's some beautiful colour out there, there's some tree roots, and I'm going to show you it in a minute once I make my way out here. So what I'm going to be focusing on is, you see these tree roots here. Now that's a Scots pine, and then you have all these beautiful beech leaves either side of it and behind there, which kind of layer behind, which I really, really like. On top of that, you've got this water flow coming towards us here. Now what I'm actually doing is, I'll show you on the back of the camera in a minute, is if you look here, we've got this really bright patch of light which is hitting the water. Now I'm getting above that, so I'm using the crop so that I can crop that out and get it out of the frame, because it's obviously going to be too bright in the frame and just be a distraction. So that's what I'm going to do. So what you'll see is I've got this 65-24 crop, and the reason I've done that is if I zoom out now, you'll see that just in that bottom corner, just down here where my focus point is, that's where that bright spot is I was showing you. So I'm eliminating that by just cropping in just a tiny bit and using this crop. So with the idea being is, I'm just going to move my focus point across. There we go. So you can see what I'm working with. Those tree roots I was pointing out to you before are really beautiful, and there's a contrast between the foliage of the Scots pine hanging down on the frame there and the foliage behind, which is obviously those beautiful beech trees in autumn colour. So we've got the reflections of those colours as well in the water, which is really, really nice. Now I'm using a Case polarizer as well. I've been experimenting with the polarizer on and without it, because I want to make sure that I've got that information to work with. If I'd taken just one image by itself, say without the polarizer, and I got back and I said, oh, I wish I'd tried it. So I'd always advise, just if you're trying to get a shot, is just experiment with all of these things while you're taking that one shot, because it's really annoying to go back and find that you could have done something or experimented with something out in the field. So I always take multiple shots at different sort of shutter speeds with different filters on, just to make sure I've got that information. Okay, so trying with the polarizer, trying without it, But the main part of the frame is, the main part of the interest for me is to get those tree roots in and that autumn colour. And I really like the shape of the trees beyond. What we've got today as well is there's not a breath of air. There's no wind at all. There's no movement in the leaves, so it doesn't matter about shutter speed so much. I can kind of slow the water down to what I want it to be. And with the polarizer on, I'm looking at about 3 seconds, somewhere around there, maybe 4 seconds depending, and it just gives those little streaks coming towards you as the water's flowing towards you, which just adds that little bit of foreground interest as well. So that's all there really is to this shot. And basically where those tree roots are coming down, I've got that over to the right side of my third. So if you're looking at thirds on the back of the screen here, it's almost on that on the far right third. And then the rest is just going from right to left, basically. But so that's going to be the main focal point of interest. And then you're going to follow the riverbank right the way up through into that lovely fall colour in the back. Now, the one thing the polarizer is doing for me is just saturating those autumn colours even more. So it just kind of gives that touch of vibrance before I even get it into post. So yeah, I'm going to grab this shot next. I'm going to just move my focus point slightly just to be kind of a third of the way in. I'm at 4 seconds, f16, ISO 100, and yeah, just going to grab this shot. So now we have that shot done, I'm going to head down here. Now you can just see beyond Adrian down in that way. There's some beautiful fall colour just hanging over the river down there. So I'm going to walk down that way and try and make a shot down there as well. And I think it's going to be another one of those pano formats because it's just going to work so well. What I tend to like to do is get rid of a lot of these clutter on the forest floor or on the riverside. So getting that crop just to kind of pull all of that out of the frame really does help. But we'll head down there and see if this is going to work. So, as I was saying back there, I think it does work really well as a 65-24. I'm just going to show you now. And what you'll see is where my focus point is there, which is just on that lower third again down here. And what you've got is the trails of the water coming in from the right hand corner into those little cascades, and then the river itself flows down towards where that fall colour is. You've got a few of these little leaves which are just kind of clinging to the branches on the left hand side, which kind of almost look like gold medallions just hanging off the left there, which really add to the frame as well. And then you've got that lighter area where all the fall colour is further back there, which just works really nicely. I've got the case polarizer on again just to kind of lift those colours a bit more and take the glare off the water down on the right hand side here. Simple enough. Again, I'm just at 2 seconds just to kind of let that water flow through the scene a little. I don't have to worry because, as I said, there's not a breath of air at the minute, which is really good luck on our part today. F16, and I'm at ISO low 50 at the minute. Now I haven't seen a great deal of difference using the software ISO at all. It doesn't seem to cause any problems, so I'm just going to use that now. Low 50, F16, 2 seconds, and grab the shot. Now I hope you'll forgive this little plug I'm going to do here, and it's for my little zine that I put out not so long ago. I still have copies available, so please follow the links if you're interested. 28 images across this little zine, my first ever one, and I'm really quite proud of it. So if you haven't got one already, please follow the link above and go and check it out. Now while I'm here, I thought it'd be interesting just to open it up and try a different crop. So with that in mind, I'm just going to have a look through here now and change my settings a little and open this crop up to a 4x3 and recompose my composition a little and see which ones you prefer best. I'm just going to open it up now. You see what I was saying before is it opens it up a lot more of the mess on the bottom of the frame, so you have to get tighter in. But I think it works quite nicely as a tighter frame as well. So I'm just going to recompose that. And I still like those gold medallions kind of hanging off the left-hand side of the frame there. So I'm just going to push myself around a little bit further so you see more of that. And then there we go. I'm just going to kind of leave it around about there and make sure I'm nice and level. And then readjust my focus point. Zoom in a touch more because you can just see this rock on the right hand side of the frame is just creeping into the frame there. I'm just going to zoom in a touch just to eliminate that out the corner of the frame. And yeah, I'm going to keep my settings more or less the same because everything else looks good at that. And then grab that shot as well. What I'm going to do is put both of these shots up side by side and let me know which one you prefer, the letterbox pano or the 4:3 aspect ratio. Now just basically turning round from where I was just shooting there, there's this other shot here, and I'm just going to plug all this in so you can actually see what I'm looking at. That would help matters, wouldn't it? I'm going to use a 4:3 for this because I think it works really well, and I want to open up the frame this time. What I'm doing is eliminating all of this distraction and be in front of me here, all the mess. But what I'm actually using is the river's actually flowing down past me. We've got this beautiful colour in front of me here, this beech tree. And then there's rocks below. There's a tree kind of growing out of the rock. And all of that's reflecting quite nicely. Now, I'm using a polarizer, which kind of seems a bit counterintuitive, but I'm taking shots with both. I want to kind of retain those reflections, and just using that polarizer is just taking it away a little, but it's also kind of making those colours really pop, and it's taking a bit of the glare off the leaves of the rhododendrons on the other side as well. So I think that's quite important for me on the frame. So I'm focusing actually on the rock that the tree is growing out of there. I'll just show you now so you can actually see. You'll just see there where my focus point is. Now, at the minute, I'm kind of at about 4 seconds. F16, ISO 50 again. And basically, as I said before, I want those streaks to come from the right to the left of the frame, just to kind of add a little bit of interest in the bottom. As well as that, we've got the reflections of those leaves in the water there as well. But yeah, I think it works really, really nicely. I'm just going to grab this shot now. Hopefully it turns out okay, but what I'm seeing on the back of the camera looks absolutely beautiful here. So actually returning to the place where we started off this morning, I think I've found my final shot of the day, and it's just a few yards from where I took the last one. Sometimes it's always the way. You go to these areas, you start wandering around for ages trying to find shots, and if you find an area that works for you, the key is just to stay in that area and look for different compositions in that area. Sometimes you don't need to kind of go away from it. I thought it might be worthwhile going to that area this afternoon because we've been there before, but yeah, it just wasn't going to be working for us. So coming back here, as you can see, it's a lot calmer down here. We are sheltered, so there's less wind, and it means that we can work a lot easier with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this last shot that I've got lined up, and I think it works really quite nicely. So the idea is I'm going to be shooting from this direction back upstream. We've got all of this beautiful autumn colour there. We've got these beautiful boulders which are reflecting in the water, and then we've got all of these bubbles kind of slowly coming down the river there. You'll see that I've got this 16:9 set out, and I think that works the best for this frame, at least to my eye anyway. So I've got the thirds grid set out, and you can just see the banks of the river on the other side I've got on that lower third. And then beyond that, above, we've got that reflecting rock just in the middle of the frame there, and another one off to the left. And then obviously all that beautiful fall colour above that, the lovely autumn colours there really popping through. Now I'm including the banks of the river. I was eliminating those before, but on this shot I'm actually including them off to the right because I think that works quite nicely with this shot. And then off to the left you can see where the bubbles are coming down the stream there, right in the middle. The bubbles are going out of the bottom left corner. Now exposure, I've got a 4-second exposure, so I've got a polarizer on just to kind of pop those colours and allow me to get down to 4 seconds there. F16, and I'm on ISO low 50. Now as I said before, I've experimented with this and I haven't really seen any difference in quality between the base ISO on here, which is 100, and using the low 50, so I have no problem in using it whatsoever. It's allowing me to get the shutter speed I really want as well, so that's the main thing. So yeah, as I said, no wind, so we don't have to worry about that, and I've just got to keep grabbing these shots. It would be nice if we had a little more light than we have now, a little kind of ambient light on the leaves or something like that, just to help kind of lift the scene a bit more. But with these shots, you've just got to work with what you've got. So I'm going to grab this shot and I'll pop it up next for you. So, as if by magic, just as I was saying before, it could do with a little light, out it came. And it was really, really short-lived. But I think I managed to rattle off a couple of images just with enough light just to kind of lift that scene. And I'm going to leave you with a couple of images at the end here. That image with a little bit of light in, and another image that I just took just moments before that light happened, just a little bit further downstream, which I really quite like as well, but didn't have time to kind of set everything up to walk you through it. But want to leave you with those 2 images anyway. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed this week's video. Bit of a change from the Rockies, I know, but lovely to be back here in amongst all of this autumn colour. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video soon. Take care. Bye bye.